So how you doing, Honey Bunch?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Well, we're doing great. This is take 2 on our video here. Woohoo! Yay, technology. But we didn't come to you last month because, of course, school started. And I went back and looked at our plays of the month at the end of August, and we had played a total of 6 times over the month of August. Now, we started school about mid-August, but Shell was in a class for a full week before that.
Oh no, I was.
Even longer than that, right?
I think I had
It
like
was
3
crazy.
weeks.
3 weeks of planning before we even started.
Yeah, so.
Right? And so, but now things have settled down a little. We have taken it upon ourselves to be a little bit better about getting away from the screens. And
you're hilarious.
A little bit.
That's true. We have made an improvement. We played some games.
Yeah, we actually played some games. I mean, there are 10 titles that we're going to talk about that happened over August into September. So, that's something. Hey,
That's
and before we go any further,
good.
remember to subscribe to the
Please.
this, as well as you can sponsor the podcast and this video series by going to patreon.com/GarrettsGames. All right, so we have 10 games that we're going to cover, 5 each that we've got here. Most of them are ones that we are planning on keeping.
Yeah.
There are a couple.
No.
Not so much. All right, so Shell, do you want to start us off?
What?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I don't know. You're mixing it up. All right. So the first game that we want to talk about is called Ripple Rush. It's by Ken Gruhl. It's by Stronghold Games. And we've played it many times because it's only like 5-10 minutes. So we can play it. We could squeeze it in lots of different places. We just need a little bit of a break, but we want to do something fun. And it's really great. If you like the Ganz Clever series, but maybe you wanted something just a little bit easier, then this would be the game for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a little bit, you're doing numbers in descending order from top to bottom. And if you finish some of the rows, then you get rewards.
Right.
And you have cards.
Yeah, so it's a draw and write game.
Yeah.
Right. And so everybody, you got a stack of cards. There's 100 cards in the deck, 4 different colors. Every color, it has 1 to 25 in it, but you take out a certain number. So like with 2 players, you only have 40 cards. So
which means only 20 actions per person.
Right.
So the game is really fast, and it's simply grab the card and do it. I mean, so
grab a card, write it in the proper color.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So maybe a couple times.
Shelley was getting blue and green. Got really excited. It's a 9.
That's been why I won those games.
You were good. I caught it.
No, you did. You caught me. But he caught me.
So you write it in the column. You can write it anywhere you want in the column, but remember that you have to stick, as Shelley said, to the highest to lowest in the column, and then at the end of the game, in each column, the largest section of sequential numbers. Now they don't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, but next to each other, you get a point for each of those, and then during the game, every row that you complete either gives you a number that you want in a particular color or a particular number in whatever color you want. So finishing those rows is pretty
That gives you that bouncing effect that's really cool in Ganz Clever, which does it more than this because this is a simpler game. Right. But it is so much fun, and I'm really glad we have this in our collection.
So Ripple Rush. That's good. All right, my first one, and we'll go from smallest to biggest here. Fafnir. This is Oink Games. Notice tiny, right? And it has a chicken on the cover. This is the first of 2 chicken games we'll be talking about, because if it has a chicken in it, I'm getting the game.
We have to have it since we have chickens.
So everything fits in the box. This is a bidding game that I actually like.
That he wins every single time, and I cannot win no matter what I do.
That's true.
It is really like this complicated thing, even though it's so simple. It's hard because the way it works is you...
In the fist bidding.
Yeah, and you're bidding a certain amount of eggs and any colors that you want.
Yes.
But whatever you bid, if you're the winner, it goes into this trash area where you sort it by color.
Right.
And the game ends as soon as What,
As soon
5
as
or 6?
depending upon the number of players, either 4, 5, or 6 in a particular color, or maybe it's 6, 7, or 8 in a particular color.
Yeah.
I think it's 6 with 2.
Okay, so 6.
And then the ones that have the most over there in trash, the top 2 are going to score positive points. The others are going to score negative points, and the gold ones always score you a point no matter what. And so you've got to do that bid, and you're trying to make the things that you have go up. But of course, you're doing that bid, and you get rid of some if you want one particularly to score. So that balance
and you're
is
keeping
really cool.
getting more as the game goes on,
Yes.
more eggs that then those are what you're bidding on to go behind your screen.
Yeah.
So it is extremely straightforward, very fast, fun game. Highly recommend it.
Comes
I
with
cannot
4
win.
little screens in here,
It's great.
along with a canvas bag with all of the stuff. Tiny little Oink game, June Sasaki, little Fafnir.
And look at how cute the art is on that too.
Exactly.
Well, since you're going chicken, I guess I'll go in chicken too.
There we go.
This is called Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. And it's by Chad Elkins and Shauna and Warren Tenney.
Those are the artists, actually. So Chad
Oh,
Elkins
I'm
is the
sorry.
designer.
Yeah. Whoopsie. I
Okay.
blew that.
But it's very cute artwork. so.
25th century. Oh, this is really cute. And, well, I will be coming to my classroom because it's not really something like 2 adults would be playing necessarily.
Well, I mean, it was cute, and this would be a very late, with possibly some alcohol involved, game that we might play at a convention.
It
or
is
something,
perfect
because
for kids. Okay, this is the start player.
Oh
The best start player piece ever. And the dog is particularly interested in this one.
Yes.
And there's just such great... The artwork is so good. It's got
Yeah.
a 3D dog.
So everybody's
and
a fox in this, and you're trying to
yeah.
get the most chickens.
And then there's this board where you try to bid on cards, and it just looks like a perfect little placemat with everything.
Well, you
in.
don't have to bid on cards. This is just paying 1, 2, or 3
Well, that's what I
foxes
meant
that
by
you've
that.
got.
Yeah.
exactly.
So you're rolling a bunch of dice, so that's fun. It's a dice fest, and your goal is just to the dog is the marker, so you know when the game is going to end. The dog moves to a certain number, and the game is over. It's really fast, and you just you're trying to get your chickens to turn into
your
dinner and put them in your bag.
Exactly.
And he's going to try to steal my stuff. I'm going to try to steal his stuff. The cards give you powers to steal stuff. Then there's also some rolls you can have, which are a tad not balanced, but you don't have to play with those.
No, you
That's
don't.
optional. And
The nice thing is that it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's a good 15 minutes. That's it. If this were the 30 minutes it says on the box, we probably wouldn't want to play it. But I would play this again for sure. Though it's definitely something
it's
that's
going
gonna
to
wind
my
up at shelf
classroom.
full,
It's
for sure.
it's great. It's a great game. The
All
kids will love it.
All right. My second game is one that we unfortunately did not like. This is the other one that came out at the same time as Ripple Rush, Divvy Dice. This is longer. This is a perfect example of a game that does outstay its welcome.
Yeah.
It's got some interesting mechanisms in it, but it's almost a little bit too mean because you have your active player, they roll the dice, and they can only use all the dice if they can spend them on the various possibilities, either 3 to 4 equal value dice to buy new cards that are going into their 3x3 tableau, or they can fit the values, and you have to completely fill a card or completely use all of the dice and fill the card if you're going to use them on the active turn. So what happens is on the passive turn, whenever the active player, rolling 3 times, of course, re-rolls any of their dice, any die that's re-rolled, one of those dice can be used by any of the passive players, and they can choose any of them. It's not that if Shelley chooses one, and we're both passive players, then we'd have to choose different ones, and then we'd be able to write one thing on the dice. So the idea is kind of good. It just overstays its welcome because you have to build a 3x3 grid, and it's the person who triggers that triggers the end as soon as they have their 3x3 grid. You've had one more round, and it just felt like so swingy for 20 to 30 minutes of play. Whereas if this were 10 minutes, like Ripple Rush or Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, which also has the dice, I'd be okay with it. But Divvy Dice didn't really make the cut.
No, it's disappointing for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, but a game that we loved is called Sovereign Skies by Aaron Andrew Wilson and Deepwater Games. This game
Definitely.
is it's beautiful, it's stunning, but it's so much fun to play. You can see it's got like almost like holographic bits and this shiny box, and this really shows how beautiful it's going to be when you open
I did
up.
go the deluxe version because I got the player mat, as Shelley's going to show. Look at this.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Lay out everything on the mat here, so it's all
very organized, and it's just at the end. I mean, I know what we talk about bits a little bit, but
bits a bit,
bits a bit. But each person has their own mothership that is completely cut different, and the drop ships that go along with it are completely unique in shape as well.
Everyone is different.
So it's really nice because it would be perfect for anyone who had any color issues or anything, because all the shapes are different. But basically, it's an area majority game that is just stunning, because you go around to different planets which give you certain powers. And one of your powers is always you could take a card that gives you influence in some kind of like
influence on the planet.
Emissary. There's like emissaries or something. I don't know, some people. And then you can drop a baby ship onto your
one of the drop ships.
And so those two powers are available at any of your locations. But then there's another power that's specific to that part of the planet that you're on. And of course, you're trying to get area majority. You are also trying to get cards that have special powers on them. You're also trying to get influence markers that give you points, like 3 points, and then the other person tries to take them. And
those are based on who has the majority on that particular planet. You can trigger that action, which is specific to a planet. And then, say Shelley had majority, but now I've been able to get majority because I've put more stuff out there. If she had the 3 points, now I could take those 3 points from her. So there's a little bit of that.
But it's
it goes
really
quickly.
not. It's not mean though.
Yeah, you can get ambassadors, which give you one-time actions in the game, which help modify an action or give you a greater ability when you're doing a particular action. And then there are the ships, the space stations that you place on a particular planet that would, of course, be circling it. And when those activate, so you build it first and then activate it, and those are another way to get points. As soon as any 2 piles of the space station activation or the ambassador area gets emptied, so you could 2 in there, 2 there, or 1 and 1, then the game's over. And it's really cool. The other thing I really like about it is these motherships go around, but you can reverse direction and pay energy to do that, and pay more energy to go further.
You don't have to just keep going one space, one space, one space. The beautiful energy tokens, which are gold coins.
Yeah, the deluxe version is gold.
It's really
coins,
sweet.
really.
But I mean, I go to a place that Doug has majority. I'm not giving him. Wait, no, I'm paying. I'm paying you the coins.
Coin.
I pay you the coins, but to go where you have a majority.
Right.
But if I could choose not to do as many actions in my location, so that I could maybe gain some more coins.
Right.
So there's this balancing of that, and there's also some cards that you can have each player have some kind of power to them. It's great with or without the powers. It is just it's a stunning game.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so much fun.
I really like it. It's probably going to be close to, if not, we've already talked about, what might fit the top 10. This one is a really solid possibility.
Yeah, I love this game. Yeah.
All right. My next one is Robin of Locksley. This is a 2-player only from Uwe Rosenberg that Rio Grande picked up here in the U.S. And it has some of, Uwe Rosenberg does a lot of sharing of mechanisms from game to game. And so this one has a sharing of mechanism from a game that came out a year or 2 ago called Wyrmgold. That was for 1 to 4 players. This is for 2 players. And that the idea of Wyrmgold, or Reichhold, however you say it, was that you were produce managers and you had a track along the outside, and it's whoever got the furthest along the track, that was going to be the person who won. And each of the steps along the track had some requirement that you had to fulfill to get to that next spot. Well, this takes that down to kind of the essentials, and it's really a race game around a track 2 times, and each tile, and they are modular, so the track that goes around can be changed up for every single play. Each step on that track that goes around the outside has some type of requirement, like Reykholt. Or you can pay a coin to go beyond that as well. So it's either pay the coin because you can't achieve it, or you can achieve as many possible things plus coins as you want in a particular turn. So maybe it's that I have to have a certain number of coins, or I have to have a certain number of sets of items that I'm collecting, and so on, or maybe fewer than my opponent has. So
or be in the corners of the mat,
yes,
or
exactly.
of the board.
Right.
And basically, you said it's like a knight move in chess.
Yes, exactly. So you move up and then over. So up 2 and over 1, or up 1 and over 2, and so
that's
the way it works. Yeah.
So I find like I'm just counting the whole time. Over 1. Over
Yeah, but you're pretty good at this game.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You've won as many times as I've. I
Probably,
think you've won more.
Maybe.
But you're in the middle of the track are objects that are of different categories, so rings and bracelets, etc. And you have to collect at least 3 of those to be able to, at any time during your turn in a set of 3 or more. 2 are always going to go out, and you get to keep 1 or more of the coins, depending upon the size of the set. So that's the way you get coins. And it's just a really solid race game that doesn't outstay its welcome. Robin of Locksley, solid pickup, and I'm glad to have played it.
All right. Well, another game that absolutely is so adorable. It's called Calico. It's by Kevin Russ. It's by AEG Games. And you would look at this and go, oh, it must be a simple game because it's just too cute. It's actually a very challenging game. It's quite spatial. Your goal is to try to attract certain cats to your quilt by putting certain quilt pieces on.
With patterns.
With patterns. And so each of the cats, the pieces are incredible, likes a certain type of quilt design.
Yeah,
and so basically,
and it changes. So down here in this spot, it would be a hexagonal piece that shows the 2 different types of quilt designs
or stripes
or exactly.
different types of unique designs. And then once you accomplish what that cat wants, you get the cute little kitty and put it on your quilt board. Yeah. And then there's other things if you get colors. So if you get 3 or other 6 or different of a certain color, you will get a button.
Yes.
So that's part of the points, but really the other part of the points is that you have all these hexagonal pieces they're in certain locations, and then you have to try to accomplish what it wants. This one wants 4 A's and 2 B's, so 4 that are the same in color, or 2 that are the same in color, or pattern, or both.
Right.
And if you can accomplish both, you get a higher point. So for 4 A's and 2 B's, you would get 7 points if you did it in color or in pattern. Or if you did both, you would get 14. So it's a really good thing. And you're just constantly, you have a tableau of ones that you get to choose from, and you're just hoping to get the ones that you want, but you're trying to play them to make the best of your situation.
The nice thing is that the player boards are double thickness with cutouts, so everything fits nicely. Those hexes fit nicely. Now, nominally, and I bring this up, I brought it up when we did the podcast on this, that nominally this reminded me initially of Take It Easy, which is the kind of the bingo-esque thing where you take the hexes, and that those hexes that go in the middle remind me of that too, because every player has the same 3 scoring hexes in the middle of their board, right?
In the same place.
And so, just as in Take It Easy, every player's getting the same tiles at the same time, but you can put things in different places. Here, of course, you're drafting the quilt hex tiles and placing your own thing and building your own board that way. So, that superficially it has that bit. And, it plays until everybody has their quilt filled up.
So it's very rewarding because you always build a quilt, and it's just how many points did you get for it. Yeah. And what's cool about the edge of the board is that it has all of the colors and all of the geometric, the designs that are on the hexes.
Yeah, the patterns.
The patterns. And so if you're trying to accomplish something, you can use the outside of the board to actually help you. So if you're a cat wants to get, a certain thing, that one, if you were able to connect it with the outside piece, then that would add up to make your totals.
Exactly.
And
so
you're definitely going to
four
look
of a
at
particular pattern. If that pattern is already on the outside of the board, then you could use that as one of the 4. And each of the boards, by the way, is different. So that's kind of cool too.
Oh, so that's the difference of it.
Yeah, that's
okay.
another difference.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
All right, my second to last game is one that has been around for a while and has just been republished. This is Spirits of the Forest. Michael Schacht is one of our favorite designers of all time, and this one came out in 2 different forms previously. First one called Richelieu, which was a 2-player only, as well as Web of Power, the card game. Now, this game actually plays more than 2 players, or can, and but I just had to get this because it is so fabulous. Look at this. It's got an embossed cover there with the slipcase and signed by Michael and the artist. And then each of these tiles, these were just cardboard things. Look at how thick that is.
And that's not cardboard, that's
I know,
plastic.
It's like wooden plastic bits. And then the place where you can reserve a thing are these big, huge egg-shaped things.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. All of these, wooden bits that you can put on here and so on. There's expansions in here. There's a way to play it solo. It's just amazing.
If you love area majority, it is just a stunning game. I love that.
Well, it's more set collection, right?
Well, set collection. Yeah, why did I say area majority?
Because Web of Powers.
Oh, okay, all right. Maybe give me at least that.
I got to give you that
credit.
Yeah.
You make 4 rows, and if there's one icon on the tile, then you can find another one with one on one of the other ends, then you can take them both.
Right.
Otherwise, you can only take one if it's got 2.
So
you're working on the colors, which
Mm-hmm.
are just many stunning colors, and they're in certain designs too.
Gorgeous,
You can, if you're colorblind, it wouldn't be a problem at all. And then you're also working on different icons that are on it, like there's a moon or a sun, and some weather type of icons too. So you're trying to get the most of everything, and of course you can't, because that's
right.
That's impossible, right?
So the key is that you can only take from the ends of the rows, and you got those 4 rows set up. So you're going to take only 1 or 2 cards every turn, but you're also paying very close attention to what am I revealing by what I take. So am I setting up my opponent to be able to get a really good take on that? And then the other little wrinkle is that you only score if you have the majority. So say there are 10 icons of a particular color. If I have 6 and Shelley has 4, I'm going to get 6 points. She doesn't get anything. All right. If I were able to, and Shelley never let me do this, but if I were able to get all 10, not only do I get 10 points because I have all of those cards, and Shelley doesn't have any, she loses 3 points. So you always want to get at least 1 card in each color. I say cards, but,
one of the tiles.
And it's because you don't want that extra added penalty of not having the points and losing those 3 points along with, getting a 0. But it's just, along with that, there's these tokens that you can get along with a card, which
so those will give you something like a color or some symbol. Yeah. And if you have that, then somebody might not know exactly what you have.
Exactly. So say we both tied 5-5 in that 10-point thing, but Shelley got a token. Boom. She's got the 6.
Right.
She gets 6 points. I get.
So I might be trying to get some of those tokens and maybe take one that isn't as good because I don't want to leave Doug that one, or so you're really thinking. It's so straightforward.
Yes.
But so
simple,
good.
But elegant. That's what all Michael Schacht's designs are all about. Is this simplicity of action, but deep think within those simple, very cool rules.
Yeah, and I mean, there's lots of variants in here and ways to play it. And so,
different setups and stuff.
Yeah,
so again,
it's great.
Spirits of the Forest. If you don't have this, you really should get it. It is a phenomenal 2-player game.
Yeah, so much fun. I love it. And it's so fun to play with because the pieces are so clunky and awesome. Okay, so the other game that we play, another one of the games that we played was Mariposas by Elizabeth Hargrave. And of course, this is AEG. and Wingspan. So Wingspan is an amazing game.
We love Wingspan.
But this one didn't do it for us at all. It was a disappointment and caused quite a lot of frustration, actually.
Oh,
because the way the game works is you are trying to make all of your butterflies, go from generation to generation. So a first level, a second, a third, and a fourth, or a 4 with 2 on it, you know.
Right.
So you're trying to get your butterflies to... by going to places where they can
migrate up into North America.
Right, but you're taking them to places where they can make their offspring that are better than the generation before it. And you have, I think it's like 5 different types of cards of how you can move. And if you happen to get the same one, you could just show it and then you could get a different card. That's not a problem. But basically, you're moving and you're going to places to pick up flowers. And each time you pick up a flower, and you're trying to get flowers that match, because then it makes it easier to make more offspring.
Right, to do the next generation.
To do the next generation. Yeah. And you have goals that open up.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's 3 levels of scoring. And so it'll say you want to get all of as many, or sometimes it's all, of your butterflies on this part of the board, or you want to get them all to that side, or you want to get them to a certain places on the
to
board.
The second generation, or something like that.
And so there'll be like 3 things on each card that you could potentially try to get.
They conflict.
And they conflict. So if you work towards one, you're not going to get the other. And then if you do okay on one card, then the next one comes out and you had to go somewhere totally opposite. And you're like, oh, okay. And so it's very frustrating. And you want to get, to start the game, you want to get all the ones that give you a lot of flowers, like 3 different butterflies, up to 3 different butterflies who could move once. So you could get 3 different... So you could get 3 flowers.
So the luck comes in if you're playing ones that, I can move 5, but I only get a flower when I stop. Then and Shelley's getting the 3 different movements. She's getting all the things and able to generate her generations, and everything's going really well. And so the luck of the draw in the deck, coupled with the fact that it really feels overbalanced in terms of the final scoring, if you can get your 4th generation only butterflies back to Central America and where you started from, that is a huge scoring. Yeah. And it just...
So basically, you might send a couple out and do some work, and they get some powers when they go to certain places and stuff like this. But then you have to keep all yours really low so you can get them home. It just is so tedious. And
it's a frustrating and kind of forgettable game.
It's frustrating.
That it probably, if Wingspan weren't out there, that of course inevitably sets up a comparison point for her and her work. It might be just a forgettable game. Here it's frustrating because we know what was able to be produced in Wingspan, right?
Wingspan, sure.
So Mariposas,
not our thing.
Not our butterfly game. Papillon, go for that one.
Oh yeah, that's very sweet. Papillon.
All right, our last game is the heaviest of them all, and that is Alma Mater. Now this is by the same Italian design team as Coimbra, which we were kind of so-so on, but they've also done a number of other things. I think Agizia is theirs as well.
Yeah.
And this one, you are competing colleges at a university, trying to attract students and professors to your college. And kind of probably the coolest thing, other than I think the game is pretty cool in and of itself, but look at these bits. You got books. 3D books.
And the pages are white.
Yes, exactly. And so you're using your books in books in your color, as well as buying books from
the other
players, and that's what you use as your currency to attract the professors and to attract the students. The students are in 2 rows on your player board and nicely fit in, another double layer player board, so they fit in nicely. Yeah. And they can give you either augment an action, or they can be an action in and of themselves, because this is a worker placement game, so you could place a worker on your dedicated student there in your spot.
Yeah.
But the key thing here that you need to make sure that you're attentive to is the fact that the final scoring deals in multipliers, right? So when you're drafting the students at the end of the game, if you've got a lot of students, that's going to be really good because it's the number of students in your top row times the number of students in your bottom row, and that's going to give you a lot of points. If instead professors were the way to go, and professors are really nice because they give you an extra action beyond the meeples that you're able to put out as your worker placement. You can tap them by paying a book to do their action more than every round, and it's going to be professors times how high you get on the research track, which is kind of a little bit like Robin of Locksley. You have to fulfill certain requirements to move up on that track, and it's
as well as go there.
Right.
And
so it's how high you get on there times the number of professors that you get, and that's a big scoring as well. So these balancing mechanisms and the benefits you get from the students versus the benefits you get from the professor and going up on the research track, which makes your books more valuable if you have your books higher on the research track than other people's. And then, that allows you to purchase things easier and stuff like that. So,
but if
really
even
cool.
if, say, Doug's, really doing well on that track and his books are worth a lot, I can buy his books, and that's very visible in his display. And he's had to put them in there. He had to get them there in the first place. But he will always get more for them than what he paid for them.
Right.
Because you would pay it like $1 for them, and I might have to pay like $4 or something like that.
2, 3, or 4.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other wrinkle is that, there are only so many spots to place workers. And if somebody else, or in the case of 2-player game, they actually have a dummy player, which gives you a third book type to buy.
Because you need to have 3 books to buy all of the things. Yeah.
3 or 4, because there are dictionaries too.
Right.
But they have their workers placed out, and if there's already a worker of a particular color in a spot, you're going to have more workers. So if there's 1, you got to place 2, and if there were 2, then you'd have to place 3 to be able to go into that particular spot and do that action. And of course, you can only go to any particular spot 1 time during a particular round. So all of these things work together. It's a good think, and we really had a good time with Alma Mater.
Yeah, but it was also frustrating.
Yes, there were times that it was frustrating.
Because it's, if you have to plan accordingly. And there's a lot of planning and a lot of paying attention to the values of the books. And if say one of the players doesn't put any books really into their area, You get, and you're like, I need you to put some books over there so I can buy them, and otherwise I can't go to where I want to go, right? So
you can always buy. There's one spot where you can buy a single book of a particular color.
But most of the time you need 2, and sometimes you need 3. You need a lot of books.
You need a lot of books. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but it's nice because there is the interaction of buying from the players, and most of the time the player is going to put them in there too because they want. Money. And they're going to be poor otherwise, and they won't be able to buy from you.
Right.
So it's not really like you could hurt someone by not putting them in.
It's a matter of kind of sequence. I mean, you want to get those books before you go over here to do this thing. But if I delay putting books in, then maybe Shelley has to do something else for a couple things, and it's less suboptimal.
And then maybe the other player goes where you want it to go, and then you already blew all your people. And so now you have to go somewhere else.
Not that this happened.
And then because you can't hold this many books that you worked so hard to collect to do this amazing action, which now can't happen. And then you have to, you have to buy something suboptimally so that you can keep the books that you have.
Right.
And you work on buying the books.
But I really like the interactivity.
It's very good. It's a very good game. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that plan well and you'll love it, or not, and you'll be like, okay, this is frustrating.
Yes, there was a very frustrating game that we had of that.
And I lost by quite a bit.
Once. All right, so of the games that we talked about, Sovereign Skies and
I would say
Spirits of the Forest are probably the top 2 of them. We're definitely
For
keeping,
us,
yes,
for
we're
us,
definitely
yeah.
keeping Calico, Ripple Rush, and Alma Mater.
And Chicken Dinner.
And even, yeah,
For school.
Chicken Dinner, yeah. Robin of Locksley, really solid 2-player. The only 2 that we definitely are thumbs down on are Divvy Dice and, unfortunately, Mariposas. So,
Yeah.
that's the rundown, guys, for September. We hope you enjoyed listening to our banter back and forth here. Remember, you can sponsor us at patreon.com/GarrettsGames. And, of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button down there and ring the bell so that you find out when we have more of these going on. All right? We sincerely hope you guys are staying safe, that you're taking care of yourselves, and we look forward to actually, especially those of you who we like to interact with, we look forward to seeing you in person soon. And take care. Have a great October, and we'll see you at the end of it, if not sooner. Bye.
Bye.